So this video is going to be the 0 to 100k per month roadmap with Airbnb, exactly how we've done it and what is needed in place for the different phases to get to that stage. So there's definitely three main phases when scaling a company, an Airbnb service accommodation business. So the first phase being the acquisition. Of course, you need to take properties on board, and you're going to have to do this yourself. It's a lot of outbound to start with, a lot of reaching out, a lot of rejection, but that is just the game. And finding out exactly what platforms are needed or to utilize so that you can go direct to the landlord, skip out the agents, or you can go through the agents. We'll obviously discuss that in a bit. Then you've got the phase two, which is streamlining the system, how we're going to make sure that you can start working on the business, not in the business. You're not an employee. You are the business owner. So you need to make sure that you're not putting more hours into non-money generating or non-income generating tasks. And in the last phase is the scaling. How can we start making some serious money with Airbnb to reach that 100k mark? So phase one is the acquisition stage. So this is when, right, you're starting, you've got your business set up, you're ready to go, and now you're speaking to landlords, agents, trying to find ways of bringing properties aboard so that you can either manage it and take a fee or commission on the end, or at the end, so from the money that you generate for the landlords, or if you're going to be renting the property as a rent to rent. So either one of these strategies, you're still going to be needing to outreach the landlords in the same way. So we've got direct to landlord, Open Rent, Gumtree, Facebook. They're all great platforms for direct to landlord communication. Then you've got the letting agents. This is going to be the phone calls and visits. The visits I would definitely recommend because obviously you want to see them, shake their hands, look them in the eye. And then you've got your alternative methods when you're looking at networking. Key, you need to be networking, especially when you're starting. Letters, which haven't been as successful for us personally, but I do know some people that have had success with letters. Door to door, again, just knocking on and just finding out if they don't know somebody, then they might know of somebody who has a property that they're looking to rent or for somebody who needs management of some sort. And then friends and family, I think that's the key place to start. I'd probably be the number one place to start because you just don't realize until you start speaking about what you do and the people that start to approach you, the people that start to all of a sudden pop up and show interest in your services. So let's just have a little look. So this is the Open Rent platform. So this is what it sort of looks like. This is a property that's on the market. It's obviously got a description. Have the rental figure here, $1,400 per month. Obviously, you would assess your area and your patches, and you would know that's a 2-bed flat in this area, Manchester. That 1,400 is probably about right. And then we can outreach directly to the landlords here and start communication. Or you've got to be careful with Open Rent that you're not doing spam messages, copy and paste messages. You're not messaging too many landlords on the same day because it will show on your account and then they may shadow ban you. You've been shadow banned before and it's not a fun process. And obviously you're not aware that you're shadow banned at the time, hence the point of it. And then you've also got to be careful with the language you're using. You don't want to be using certain terminology like Airbnb or short stays or management, because at the end of the day, these landlords are on this platform because they do not want to work with an agent. They want to go and deal with this directly. So you need to come and approach them with a point of view like you're a tenant to start with. I know it might seem a little bit unethical, but you to start with, you need to become a tenant, look like you're being a tenant of the property. Get them on a phone, get them on a call, and then from the call, you're picking them to then get yourself a viewing, to see them in person, seal the deal, get the contract signed, so on. This is the Gumtree platform. Again, you've got the same sort of thing with the listings, all direct to landlords. Sometimes they have their number linked on here so you can call them straight away. Other times you're going to have to message them first and then see if you can sort of get that number out of them to then give them a call to pitch on over the phone to get yourself the viewing. And then lastly, you've got the Facebook Marketplace. You've got to be super careful with Facebook Marketplace. I've been scammed through Facebook Marketplace when I first started in my property journey. You've got to just be careful of what your people you're speaking to. Sometimes, like I found out the hard way, you're not speaking to the landlord themselves. you're speaking to people who are trying to make some money or scam. So just be super careful, Facebook Marketplace. Then you've got your Rightmove. This is a great way to find agents in your area. So you can go to find agents, put in the location, and it will come up with all the letting agents in that area. You can give them a call. You can then find out where their offices are, walk into their offices, speak to them in person. I definitely recommend this because you want to start building relationships up with letting agents in your area. Because at the end of the day, if a property they have on the market isn't getting rented, it's been stagnant, it's stale, it's stayed on the market for some time, then you may be a great alternative for them to get that property rented. And it could be a great way or source of properties coming towards you without you having to necessarily do outbound. So I would definitely recommend going on Rightmove, putting in your area, getting a list, and then building a spreadsheet up of those of those letting agents, and then calling them and following up. Phase 2 is the automation phase. Now you've got your properties on board, you've secured a couple, and you want to be able to start getting this process in order so that you can start to step away from the business and not be necessarily working in the business all the time. You want to be working on it and trying to increase the income that you're generating through it. So softwares like Price Labs is brilliant for booking and pricing, strategic pricing. So obviously the weekend is going to be a higher rate than a weekday. So Price Labs will be able to determine that. It will take all the data in the area of all the properties that's listed. It'll be able to find an average that's going to work and hit the balance of getting you the most occupancy whilst earning you the most income at the same time. You're not going to be able to do this unless you spend hours researching and constantly trying to change it. You just pay Price Labs, and Price Labs just does it for you and make sure that you're constantly optimized with all your listings and your properties. This works and integrates straight into your channel manager. Your channel manager is one platform, and on this one platform, you'll be able to have all your listings of all your properties, and you can manage it all from that one place, rather than having an Airbnb account, a Booking.com account, a Verbo account, all of these different places, and trying to manage the calendars, and it just becomes an impossible task. And you're more likely to get double bookings. Somebody in the let's show you here. So that's the Price Labs. That's the Price Labs there for you. So you can see your minimum rate, base rate, maximum rate, and then it will make sure to put a price in between there that's going to get you the most in terms of occupancy plus optimize your revenue at the same time. Then you've got your your channel manager. So it looks a bit like this. So you can see how all these pricings is differently. That's because of Price Labs, and to make sure that on Wednesday the 6th it's going to be a higher price than Thursday the 7th. It's going to do that for you and automate that process. Channel manager is so important for double booking. So that's one line of here is one property. I can't show you obviously our full channel manager because there's obviously some sensitive data and information on there. But for example, Wednesday the 6th, if someone books that till Saturday the 9th, let's say for example, and on Airbnb, then somebody on Booking.com could also book those same dates for the same property. And obviously you don't want that to happen. Whilst a channel manager will stop that from happening because it will block the other platform's dates out. So only the first person to book it, say if that's on Airbnb, will get the property for those nights. And then on Booking.com, it won't show up. It's really vital that you have a channel manager, especially when you start to get a few properties on board, because it's going to automate that for you, and you do not want to be dealing with double bookings. It's a pain in the ass. But the other thing that channel manager is brilliant for is guest automation, sort of guest communication, and it will automate that, send out check-in instructions to them automatically, loads of different things like that. Then you've got the cleaners as well. It will also report to the cleaners when they need to go in and do their cleaning, because it knows when the checkout is. And all of these things are so important. So you're not working in the business, you're working on it. So then you've obviously got later down the line as well, You can also integrate a VA who can deal with guest communication. If you don't, obviously there's only so much that a channel manager can do in terms of providing checking in detail and so on. But if a guest comes and says, I've broken this, what do I do? Obviously, at that point, you're going to have to respond, or you get an AI that's going to be able to learn and understand what answers you should be giving the guest if they ask a certain question, or you get a virtual assistant who will be able to respond on your behalf so that you don't have to be constantly on your phone messaging guests. Then you've got phase 3. This is the final phase. This is really when you're starting to get to 20 plus properties, and you're going to start hiring out an operations team, so to deal with the maintenance, so that the maintenance, you're not going to have to keep running around trying to get trades or go around to the properties yourself to deal with issues. You're going to have somebody whose specific job is just to make sure that the maintenance is kept on top of across all the portfolio, all the properties. Customer service manager, again, that's self-explanatory. You know, they're going to deal with any guests that have issues. They're going to deal with the landlords as well to make sure that they're all happy and comfortable and know what's going on, if they've got any questions, etc. Then if you go on to the other side of the actual growth and the scaling part of it, is the acquisitions manager, somebody who's going to do that outreach on OpenRent, Gumtree, Facebook, going to have those relationships with the letting agents, who maybe will also do marketing as well on behalf, paid ads to draw in landlords to our service, and that's their job. And then the revenue manager, finally, is the person that's going to be making sure that our revenue's optimized, if that is upsells, so a late check-in or a late check-out, those things that we can charge more for a guest, so we charge £20 extra if they want to come an hour early to the property or leave an hour late. Non-refundable damage deposits, those things that we can boost our revenue for one particular property, and they will find out ways to do that and make sure that they're constantly on top of optimizing how much we can earn from a single property. Also, they deal with all the invoices as well. So when we're working with B2B clients, business to business, we're invoicing them directly and they're paying us. I'm not going to want to deal with that. It's, it can be long-winded and it's a lot to keep on top of all the time. So somebody specific job is to make sure that the invoices go out, are paid, that the guest has paid their damage deposits as well. All of these little things. And that is basically everything. That is the last phase to get to 100K per month. And when you've got all of this in place, you'll have a business that's working in the background for you, earning you income 24/7, all the time, 365, and you can go sit on a beach somewhere. I hope you found this valuable.